Well, Dave, here we are at Christmas, looking back on what's happened in this very eventful year, and we're also going to look ahead. But looking back first, it wasn't a bad FA Cup run. I know we got beat at Bristol Rovers, but we had a great day out at Swindon and in the qualifying rounds.
Yeah, it's been a very good cup run. It's just sad that we couldn't get the fans in, to be honest, because I'm sure they would have made Swindon even bigger than Walsall last year. But look, it's progress. We've actually got past the round that we did last year. And yeah, okay, Bristol was a bad day at the office, really. The first 30 minutes we were actually, I turned to Jonathan and said, "We're in this. This is give the taking." And 15 minutes later, I'm sitting back down at half time with a cup of coffee going, "Oh dear me, what happened there?" But look, it was just one of those days. It didn't go for us, and the heads dropped, and the lads got that. But in terms of progress, that's better than last year. And let's see, maybe next year we can get the third round. Who knows? But great cup run, good revenue generated from it. It's a shame that the FA actually reduced the prize money by 50% this year. I also feel for the teams that are in, like Marine, they've got Tottenham now, and you're thinking that would normally be a huge windfall for them. Clubs drawing the big sides this year. You've got crowds in. It's you draw Premier League Cup, it could be £1 million payout. But if you get on TV, you might get 100k. So it's a tough one for them. But we did very, very well. We're happy where we are. We generated revenue that will be very, very useful for the club this season.
You mentioned revenue there. We must also remember the financial backing of the fans, which has been fantastic this year, hasn't it? It boosts the budget 132,000. 50-50 draws on average, you're bringing in £1,000 every draw, and people are subscribing to Quaker TV. It's great support, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's how highly I rate what we've got here at Darlington with the fans. It's superb, and so are the players, the management team, the board, etc. It's wonderful. The 50-50 draws, keeping them going through this. It's very, very, very difficult to organise and do, but the teams have done a fantastic, raising good money every week. Obviously, the boost of the budget was important at the start of the season when we didn't know where we were, what we were doing, what squad we could do with COVID, etc. Very, very important that we got that in so we could secure contracts. And we've got a good squad there. And then obviously the Quaker TV, it's something we pushed long and hard for. We did try to get the rest of the league clubs involved, but it was like herding sheep. So we went our own way. And I think what we're offering is a superb match day experience for our fans. And we're also getting plaudits from the opposition clubs as well. We're also making revenue from that, which is great news, and long may it continue. It lets the fans see whilst we are in this lockdown, and the team is doing a fantastic job of it.
Looking ahead to next year, we're going to have a very busy fixture schedule, aren't we? Because here we are talking just before Christmas, and in the post-match interview yesterday, Alan made a point to me that we've got a minimum of 36 games to go, 35 in the league and one in the FA Trophy. So we're going to have a very busy January and February here. We're going to be playing twice a week until the end of February.
Well, I hope it's going to be more than the FA Trophy.
Minimum.
I think we were fortunate yesterday. I think Telford probably deserved to win that game. They're a better side. I think we look leggy. I think it's that 2-week period. It's very similar to when we played Guiseley away. We were on our front foot and they looked very, very leggy. And I think the same yesterday. I mean, their intensity, their pressing, their energy, they played at a very fast pace. And I thought they were unlucky. But, the thing is, this is football. How many times have we dominated games and not come away with anything? Many, many times. So it was nice to just hang in there. At least the guys kept trying and staying in the game. And obviously, Will strikes an equaliser with 7 minutes to go, and then we get a penalties. And it's as you know from there, it's a lottery. And Melvin did a fantastic job. I thought he was superb yesterday. Actually, I thought Melvin had a great game. His handling was good. His kick for crosses, communication was good. 2 penalty saves. So we're a bit fortunate, but yes, that's that one game through. And now we're in the next round. We'll see who we draw. Probably with our luck, it'll be someone like Truro or Torquay.
But looking at the league table, we're second from bottom, aren't we? Second from bottom, played only 7, but we've got 7 games in hand on some of the clubs. The league table looks so unbalanced at the moment, doesn't it?
It's a funny league table. There's going to be funny results all seasons. People are not. there's no one really with the consistency. The crowd's not being there. It's a funny league this year, and it's not going to settle down until March. But as you say, we've got a huge January and February with 2 games a week. I'd like to think that with everybody fit now, that we can get on a run. And once you get on a run, we've seen it before on Alan's sides, they can go on 7, 8 games, and do very, very well. I'd like to think we can get onto that. We've played some good sides, but we've got to be more consistent. We've got to when we've got up chances, we've got to put them away. But I think, now we've got this busy period coming up. We have got a decent squad. There is Alan is looking to strengthen as well in a couple of areas, but it's got to be the right players, and obviously finding them is a difficult piece. But we're not. If we need to strengthen, we will strengthen, because we still have some budget left to do that.
At the moment, this area is in Tier 3, which means unfortunately we can't play in front of crowds. About 2 months ago, we were talking about a move back to the arena. Is that still on the card? Should Tier 3 be lifted at any time?
It is possible. We as we saw what was happening with COVID, it didn't make much sense to have to be paying 2 licenses. So we were, and just to have no fans in. So we did talk the arena, and the arena guys were brilliant around. Yes, come back, and we did all our COVID certificates down there. We did our ground grading assessments with the National League to make sure that we get the numbers. But ultimately, there's a commercial cost of doing that. And at the time, given the uncertainty around COVID, we put those conversations on hold. There's no guarantee when we're going to come out of Tier 3. And yesterday, the government announced a Tier 4 and a new strain of the virus that is much more virulent than the last one that's spreading rapidly. And I believe it may be up in Cumbria as well, and not just down in the southeast. So the government announcing furlough until April, for me, is an indication of, at a very minimum, when they expect to start to see the benefits of the vaccine coming out. I mean, they can't come out and say we're furloughing until July because the country will go into meltdown. But my take on that is the indication of we'll furlough till April means that we're not going to have any return to normality at least until April. And therefore we could still be in lockdown at that point and not having crowds. But we will engage with the arena again in the new year to talk around the possibilities there. But everyone understands the situation that everybody's in with this COVID pandemic. It's not easy managing your way through it in terms of we've got to do the right things for the commercially. We've got to do the right things from a health and safety perspective. The COVID control behind the football club is immense. You've seen the clubs being, Premier League clubs. I mean, we were off for 2 weeks because of one of our players testing, which which possibly could have been avoided, but we are where we are. And Football League clubs, Sunderland, not there for 3 weeks now. Newcastle, it's all over. So it's going very different, and the control and the discipline around that, and making sure we are following protocol. It's time consuming, and to make plans to go elsewhere. We've got to do the right things at the right time, and we just take this 1 week at a time whilst we keep all of our options open about what's the best situation. When the government announced that fans can return, I would like the fans to be able to get in and not just 500. So we will consider the options of Blackpool. We will consider the options of the arena. But again, we will make the right decisions, based on commerciality for Darlington Football Club.
You mentioned 1 or 2 factors about the club. Fans are always wondering, how is the club doing financially at the moment? We've seen Twitter feeds about clubs struggling here and there, and for example, Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship, they're seeking PFA assistance at the moment, and there's always stories about 1 or 2 clubs who are near the edge. Darlington Football Club, are we okay financially, David?
We are. We don't have a worry. We are in a good shape, and obviously we were in a good shape with the control that we have now, and also getting the funding of National Lottery was vital to us. But we're in a position now where we can survive this season. The club is not at risk at all. We're probably in a stronger position than most Football League clubs, to be honest. I know they're still waiting for the 285 million to flow down from the Premier League club once that deal is concluded, but a lot of clubs are struggling out there, a lot of clubs. And again, it's about having the right financial management and prudent management, and not spending beyond their budgets. And a lot of clubs have done this. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we see another couple of clubs go to the wall this season. I really wouldn't. Even with the financial support coming through, it's very, very difficult in these times. But Darlington, no, there's nothing to worry about. We're in good shape. We're in good hands, and we'll see this season through, and we'll be normality will return. That's one thing. I've had colleagues who are working out in Singapore when the SARS virus hit. How quickly we return after the vaccine comes through. Whilst the government, it depends how fast they can roll it out, but normality comes back very, very quickly. So I would expect next season's going to be a normal season. We just got to keep going through and see where we are with this season, and just make the right decisions and keep doing the right things and the right protocol and discipline, and we'll be fine.
This season, though, it could go on until the end of June if we're in the playoffs. I mean, the last league fixture is on May the 29th at Gloucester, which I think is the Whit bank holiday weekend. And that's assuming that we don't have any more delays or any more lockdowns and stuff like that. We could be in the playoffs after that to the end of June. From your point of view, obviously you'd love the club to be successful, and if we don't get automatic promotion, then go up through the playoffs.
Absolutely. We knew those dates at the start of the season. They're in June, but we've got to make sure that we remain in a position to play our games. The more backlog we get, the harder it gets. We do not want any more COVID outbreaks. We don't want to lose the 2, 3, 4 weeks here and there. It may happen, but it may happen for lots of clubs in the league as well. We've seen it up and down the country. So I'm looking for a decent run through January and February, get some games under our belt and get climbing up that table. And that starts on Boxing Day with Spennymoor. Another big game for us, but with a full squad. It's a game we go into with confidence.
Well, thanks very much, David. I'm sure that all Darlow fans out there would love to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And let's just hope that we don't have any major crises upon us caused by COVID, eh?
Yeah. Well, look, the club, the support we've had from the fans off the field, from all of the staff working inside the club, all yourself, Ray, the weekly calls that we have with the boards, the supporters group, with the main board, and all of the people who are adding and advising and helping behind the scenes. It's a phenomenal activity. We are well run. We're organised. We're disciplined. But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody and wish them all a very, very happy Christmas. It's going to be a tough one this year. I've just found out that we can't have family travelling, and my mum's not coming because she's isolating, and it's going to be a very, very different Christmas this year. So please try and enjoy some time with your families. And have a great Christmas, and hopefully this pandemic will be over at some point in the new year. We've got to look forward to that. We'll continue to do the right things as a football club to manage through it while we can. And obviously, huge thanks again for the support we get from everybody to enable us to do that. This is a community club where everybody's involved, and it's great to see that we'll come out of this in a strong position. The club is not at risk. So have a great Christmas, everybody. Enjoy it, and I'll hopefully see you all face to face at some point in the new year.